All right. Welcome to today's kickoff of AI Profit Week. If you are tuning in right now live, go ahead and comment below where you're tuning in from. Let us know if you're from the States, you're part of a certain region. We'd love to know to make sure that the content we give to you today is specific to your region as much as possible, from strategy to implementation to the support you need to get it done. It's an exciting week today, so as we're waiting for comments to jump on in, what I'm most excited about today is all the content that's been put out around AI. And putting that to work now is our plan. That's our goal for today. We have a series of ways of you to engage with me and the team. And I want to make sure that if you're new to streaming with us at high level, that you're tuned into either Facebook or YouTube, and you're using the comment section to share your questions, your aha moments, or what you want more help with as we're going through the training. AI Profit Week is all about you and holding you accountable to take action. And I think that's the biggest part of this, is taking action. We get overwhelmed and we start building this self-doubt sometimes around, is this for me? Can I do it? And now it's time to give you the tools to get it done. So if you're as excited as I am with creating strategy and taking action for Profit Week, let me know what your goal is for this session with me this week. So by the time each day ends, I can help you get to that goal. All right. So if we're meeting here for the first time, nice to meet you. My name's JB, and I'm here as your guide to the success of what we're about to put together, using High Level as the platform to get you the results that you're looking for. And I've had the opportunity of working with several agencies using AI as well as using High Level as a whole. So I'm going to be equipped here with some extra strategies to help you bring your AI employee to life within the High Level platform. This week, my goal is to help you build that confidence. And that confidence starts to build momentum when you have a simplified process and you start getting good conversations going. And I believe that's like the biggest hiccup is, John, I'm not having enough conversations, so I'm not even able to give this away for free if I wanted to. That's what we're going to change at this week. We're going to change the conversation track you're having and the amount of them to get them into paying customers. And AI is definitely a buzzword that's thrown around a lot, but it's now. It's something that we're using now here at High Level. You're using in some way, shape, or form in your to-do, in your day-to-day, and other companies are as well. So look, businesses need to bridge that gap. They need to bridge the gap between I want to do this to I'm doing it now, and you're that middle piece. You're that connector. And I'm hoping that by the end of this week, you really have at least 1 to 3 bullet points that you're going to ride to the finish line and make it a reality for your business. So just want to make sure I'm fully connected here with y'all. I jumped right into it, and I want to make sure I could at least see some of the comments that are rolling. And the most important part for me here is making sure you know this is about you and that I'm answering the questions you have coming up. So it looks like here I have a bunch of folks here tuning in, and we are ready to go. So here's what we'll cover this week. Day one today is go to market with the AI employee. So we're going to be talking about, I got AI employee installed in my High Level. I have my High Level account up and running. Now what do I do to start building those conversations? As we start to get through that content today, that'll prepare us for day two, which is all around selling the end result, right? So we're not positioning or selling High Level. We're selling the end result of High Level, and we're also selling the end result of working with you. See, working with you is the missing piece that everyone has. You're the expert, and people don't know that. And I want you to think about your friends that are business owners that you see and hear talking about their business. They are in dire need of people that know what the heck they're doing. That is the gap right now. People are looking for other people that know what they're doing. And the business owners that have the money want to solve the problem. They just can't find someone to solve the problem for them because everybody's using the same lingo, the same strategy. No one's standing out. That's your job. And I'm going to share with you, how do you stand out to earn the conversation to then earn the business? As we start to understand how we stand out, that's where day 3 we go full-fledged. We go all in, and that's prospecting. And I'm going to be discussing some talking points that have been shared through our AI marathon that we had last week and other trainings, including the training I did with Adam Earhart, the training with Billie Jean. There's a handful of nuggets in all of these trainings. And if you haven't had a chance to get into our high level YouTube channel and look at these videos and look at these trainings, well, I'm going to sum them up for you so that way you get the most important and you take action. And then we're going to dive right into day 4, which is demo and the resources. How do we demo this? What's a fast demo look like? What's a demo that converts into a trial or into a paying customer look like? And then as we do enough of those demos, we're going to have enough KPIs, enough data to track our wins. And by day 5, you've gone through this training with me, whether it's on replay mode or live mode. You know exactly what you need to accomplish good conversations that lead into paying customers. And see, every day that we spend together is designed to build on the last. And I think the biggest thing for you is to take 1 or 2 ideas and put them into action by the end of the day. See, if you don't put this stuff into action, you're missing out. Because at the end of the day, the AI employee just serves as the navigation tool. You have to drive the vehicle. Let the AI employee be your navigation. You drive the vehicle. And you drive by guiding your customers or your prospective customers on what they need to do to be successful. So as you're jumping on into the live, let me know what is your biggest pain point right now. And this does not have to be solely around the AI employee. This could be around maybe the AI workflows, the conversations, infusing the conversation AI. Most of our platform is AI driven, right? Most of the high level features have an AI feature to turn on. What does your current offer look like, and what's holding you back from getting people to take it? Are you selling reputation management? Are you selling conversation AI? Are you selling additional custom services that people aren't responding back or paying you for? Like, I need to know what you're trying to sell so we can infuse those next activities to get you good conversations. So day 1, we're going to get right into it here, is the go-to-market ideas, right? So we want to cut through the noise, and we're going to learn how to stand out in this crowded market. Now, I just want to touch on this here. There are home service business owners, there are medical professionals, there are small to medium-sized companies, right, that are out and about, and they're all looking for some sort of help, service to get them either more customers or more time back in their day, right? So it's revenue driven or time driven that they're looking for. And I think you need to understand that, because cutting through the noise is understanding the problem you could solve and actually solving the problem. And solving that problem starts with how you talk to people, right? And that then leads us into getting our 1 foot in the door. See, once we understand the problem that needs to be solved in our area or in our niche or with our group of people, we know that our tool can help solve it. Now, how do we get in the door, right? Without kicking down the door? Well, we have to build trust. And we're going to discuss how do we build trust to secure those long-term clients. Because what good is trust if you get a client that signs up with you and then cancels or then charges back? What good is that, right? I used to call those short-term loans, right? Someone says yes, and then they ghost you. Someone says yes, and then they cancel on you. We're avoiding that. And we're going to then touch on our recommended pricing. As we're having these great conversations, our recommended pricing in our strategy on presenting that pricing is what's going to give that AI employee that stickiness. They're going to say, all right, that sounds fair, right? Whether it's $500 a month, $1,000 a month, $297 a month, it doesn't matter, right? It sounds fair to them because you're solving a problem that costs more and it's more painful for them. So if you're excited to get a little bit more in depth than maybe you've experienced before, whether it's in one of our trainings where you're learning how to use the tool, one of our workshops where it's applying strategy into what you're doing now. Let me know what you're hoping to learn from this training today with cutting through the noise. Let me know what I can do to make sure, whether it's on the live or supporting after the live, I can get you the answers you need. Because what I'm going to go over with you here is not going to be any secret sauce, right? It's going to be what you can get right from the shelf. What I'm going to share with you is not what you have to order and wait for 3 weeks for it to be delivered to you. It's going to be available now. And you are what is going to do it. So let's get into it. Look, there's a big problem in your local market. In your local market where you eat, drink, sleep, hang out, celebrate, drive around, near your gym, near your barber, near the mall, there's a big market problem. And that problem is that small businesses are overwhelmed by solutions and don't trust new technology easily. Now, what does that mean? Let's look at the barber, right? Or the hair salon artist. You go to them and you're sitting in their chair, and remember how you found out about them. Maybe you went on an app and they had a listing there that you booked an appointment from. Maybe they were a referral, right, from someone else. Maybe you found them because you were driving by. But most likely, you found them the one time and you stuck with them. You're still with them, right? Think about that stickiness and that loyalty you've built because they do a great job. See, the biggest problem that small businesses are having right now is attracting that new person to sit in the seat, that new person to take a bet on them. And it's because they've been burnt buying leads. They've been burnt trying things on their own. They're looking for an expert, a local expert, which is you, to help them either do it or do it for them, right? Think about that for a moment. And there's many tools out there that could do the job. I mean, we could list tools on tools that are available, that are free, that are paid, but it's not the tool. It's the strategy. It's the implementation. It's the experience. And that's what you have. See, don't discredit yourself because you're not where you want to be yet from a new customer acquisition, right? Or even getting your first customer. You're already ahead of the game in your area because most people aren't taking the steps you've taken so far because they're worried about growing their business. They're worried about keeping their existing customers happy. So the perception problem out there is that business owners fear high upfront costs and complexity. They don't want to gamble on unproven systems, right? So they're not fast to just trust anybody. Think about you. Think about that big purchase you made. Think about that trip you took. Think about that idea you had. Were there a few people that you went and spoke to about it before you did it? Were there a few people that you asked for their insight from before you made the purchase or before you booked the trip or purchased the product or service? Of course. And the reason why you made that purchase and did what you did was because someone in your circle said, oh, no, wait, before you go there, definitely call JB. Definitely call so-and-so. They could probably help you. And that reference, that referral is what solved that problem that person had. Because they were about to go onto some random website and figure it out themselves, but they took advice from somebody. So what you want to do is get yourself in circles of people that give advice to others. And you really can't tell who's who and who does that, but think about being part of different small groups, sharing your expertise, learning, getting to know them. So that way, when a question comes up, they're talking about you as the referral point, person to contact while you're not there, while you're not part of the conversation. Because business owners would rather talk and share with somebody their success than have somebody figuring out on their own or figure it out as they're trying to figure it out in the sense of, hey, go ahead and call my buddy because my buddy can help you versus, hey, go to this random website and maybe someone can help you. Like people want to help people. And this is where your opportunity is. Your opportunity here is that you have the AI employee that you can customize, that you can adjust, that you can make work for you and your customers according to their needs. Right? That's the most important part to think here and to know is that as long as you know how to use the AI employee, you can bring on customers using that as well. So here's your opportunity. The AI voice answering addresses a universal pain point, and that's missed calls and leads. So think about this. As you're positioning this in your local market, someone that does Facebook ads, Meta ads, Google ads, they are spending money on advertising. And they need someone to answer those calls, to follow up with those calls, to take control of the inbound of interest that's coming in. That same person may be doing billboards. That same person may be doing other local marketing. So what people are doing at that point is that they're calling into the business, right? There's traffic. Go ahead and put in the comments below traffic. Where there's traffic, there's opportunity. And what you're offering is a way to manage that traffic. So we want to work with successful businesses. And what I mean by successful businesses is that businesses that are advertising, businesses that maybe have a storefront, businesses that have existing customers, businesses that want to grow, businesses that have money to invest in their business. What you want to avoid is working with businesses that are starting from super scratch and are hoping things can be done for free. Those are not the best businesses for us. We want to work with those with a budget, right? And you're able, when you have that business owner with a budget, you're able to solve some real business problems, right? And you'll be able to start to identify how you solve those problems and what industry and how well you do them. So, what is one common frustration your target businesses face daily? Go ahead and let me know in the comments. What kind of businesses are you working with now? Who are you helping now? And share with me how you're helping them. Are you helping them with reputation management? Are you helping them with setting up their website? Are you helping them with some traditional marketing, email marketing campaigns, SMS campaigns, or just getting some sort of CRM up and running for them? Because everybody's doing something different with their customers. I would like to know below. And is that frustration that you have with that these customers have, are you solving them well enough that you're offering to help them with something else? Are you helping them with other problems after you solve that one problem? Let me know in the comments. So let's talk about this foot in the door method. AI voice answering. There are companies out there that are spending between $500 a month per minute fees, additional fees for having a human being answer their phone calls, whether they're a service business, whether they're an attorney's office, whether they're any type of business. They're using a phone answering service. And those answering services aren't always the best. And unfortunately, the ones that are really good cost a lot of money, right? So because those answering services are now experiencing the technology themselves, they now are adding on AI answering to their service and keeping their same price point. So think about this. A business was using a answering service that now is using less human beings to answer the phone and more AI to answer the phone, but still paying the same price for a human being. Like that's such a foot in the door for you to come in and say, hey, have you listened to the last couple calls that your answering service has done for you? How have those results been? Are they human or are they AI? Does it matter to you? Here's why I ask. Because I think the biggest concern that most business owners have is that they want to get new customers in the door. They want to respond to their existing customers' concerns fast. And I think if you are not experiencing that with your answering service you're using now, let me show you how I can help you with a smarter alternative. Same concept, answering the phone, but just quicker with the responses, smarter responses, more custom approach to the strategy. If they ask this, it'll say that. If they want this, it'll do that. And I think for you, this will allow you to say, look, it's not the person's fault that's answering the phone of why they can't fulfill the service you want. It's that they're answering the phone for 15, 20, 30, 40, 100 other businesses. So what I would like to do is give you a dedicated AI employee that'll answer the phone for your business, know exactly what your business can handle, and give your either existing customers or your prospective customers exactly what they want when they want it in an easy to understand manner. Because we know that if we train the AI employee, it'll do exactly that. Right? And I want you to think about this as you make phone calls today to your dog groomer, to an office of whatever case may be. Just as you're running your personal errands, who's answering the phone? Is there a call tree? Is it automated? Is it human? Is it AI? What's going on? Right? Because you're going to start to see yourself that the way the phone answer is changing very quickly. So, how do we kick off this foot in the door? Right? We got to start small to build trust. Now, what I'm going to share with you is for someone that has zero customers. Okay? Zero customers. This whole training is for somebody that has no customers. They just started with high level. Now, if you're tuned in and you have an existing business, you are already a high level user. Well, then I'm hoping that my approach, my strategy, the information I've gathered working with customers that have zero customers to now having their first 5, their next 15, and growing, I hope this helps give you a more clear look or gives you some inspiration to maybe optimize your strategy or teach your staff or your VAs something they could use to tweak their approach. Right? So step 1 with our foot in the door is to start small to build trust. Offering that 7-day free trial of your voice system, your AI voice system, is very helpful. And it does a couple of things for you. One, drops the guard down of the person you're talking to. So let's say, for example, I'm in my local area and I reach out to, let's say the deli. Let's say the deli next door, right? During lunchtime, they're super busy. They are super busy during lunchtime. And they're not even answering the phone half the time. So we put this AI voice system in place. We know between 12 and 2, the place is busy. They could barely take an order as is. Their primary focus is serving their customers that are coming in the building, but still they're missing out on catering orders. They're missing out on special orders because people are calling in during their lunch break or during the middle of the afternoon to prepare for a bigger event. It's not taking place now. It's maybe taking place 2 days from now. So, but follow along with me on this scenario. I'm JB, and I'm putting together a big event for my office, and I need to cater food. And right now it's 12:30. I have a few minutes between my appointments, and I'm looking up on Google a deli that I can order some good cold cuts, some good sandwiches, and I don't want to go to a franchise. I just want to get a local deli. And I find this local deli, and it's during their busy, busy time. So I call up the first one, and it rings, 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 rings. Somebody answer and says, "Hey, please hold," and they never come back. They're busy. I call the second one. Second one answers the phone, and this answering of the phone is, "Hey, thanks for calling Vinny's Deli. We are helping our customers right now. I'm I'm uh I'm an AI that I can help you with your order. How can I help?" And I start talking to it. I say, "Hey, look, I want to put together a catering order. I want pricing." And now it starts to answer those questions for me. Now, because the deli has already trained the AI with its preset questions, it knows what it needs to know to guide them through the journey. The first, let's say 30, 40 seconds as the person calling in, I'm aware that this is an AI. But because it starts talking to me and asking me the right questions for what I need solved, I forget that it's an AI. See, that first 15 to 30 seconds, whether you realize it or not, is a sweet spot on getting them engaged. So asking the right question for the problem they have, and then the AI talking to them, gives that person calling in that confidence that, oh, this is worth my time. And the "this is worth my time" is what keeps the conversation going longer. If you understand that concept in that example, comment below. That first 15 seconds matters. And that's how we start to build quality trials. So now someone says, "Yes, let's do this trial. I'm up for it, man. I feel good. We're having a great conversation." And I say, "Okay, great. Look, I'm going to set up your AI voice assistant for the week. You're busy as is. Your busy time is around lunchtime. You're probably missing out a bunch of catering orders. You're probably missing out a bunch of people asking questions because you're barely answering the phone. And let's face it, a lot of people aren't going online to your website and filling out a request form for you because you're not even checking your email. So you don't even have that option set up. So it's a total loss no matter what. This week, here's my goal. This week, I want to show you how much you've been missing out on the people that are calling in looking for things that you think that they're not looking for, which is catering orders and maybe corporate packaging for bigger orders. And by the end of the week, we're going to go through some of these recordings. We're going to go through some of the calls. And if this is something you feel and you believe this will help your business, we could talk about how to get it up and running in full scale for you. How does that sound? And now you're leveling with them. You're showing this business owner that you got skin in the game. Look, I know it's going to work. I just want to show you it's going to work because it's worth my time and your time if we both understand that it's going to work. Because it's not you that they don't trust, it's the concept of marketing, advertising. It's the concept of somebody saying, showing them saying yes, and them not delivering. That's the biggest fear. Am I going to waste my time? And is this even going to work? We're eliminating that. Now, if you're saying here in your mind, "I'm not giving this away for free." Well, we gave it to you for free. We gave you access to the high level AI employee till the end of the month for free. And it's working great with adoption. It's working great with people having skin in the game to try it for themselves. And we're noticing that more and more people, they just rather pay for it so they can, right, fast track to the next level. Well, give your potential customers that experience. See, it's only December 9th, right? We have until the end of the month to use this unlimited for free. So why wouldn't you give away trials all day long? If you have the 297 account, set up an automation that if you put their name, phone number, email in, you can have them, right, raise their hand. feel free to put them through a little bit of a qualification process. But when they experience what they experience, it's a win-win. And again, we're not just working with anybody and everyone. We're working with real businesses with real customers, real traffic, real problems. We're not working with somebody in the early stage of thinking about opening up a business. We're not working with somebody who is treating their business like an idea that they want to do eventually. We're working with people that are paying bills, that have credit card due for the services. They have invoices that are due for their services. Like these are businesses. So step 2 is demonstrating that value. When we get the commitment, we're doing the onboarding call with them. And this is a simple trial setup. Like we don't want to elaborate on this to make this overcomplicated. I bring you on as my trial. And you say, all right, JB, let's do this. I'm like, all right, great. You got a minute now? Great, perfect. So I set up the sub account. As I set up the sub account, I'm giving them access. So they get access. I want them to see and feel what's going on here. Maybe I'm in person with them. So I got my laptop next to them. And we're building out this AI agent with each other because I already know how to build it. It's like just a couple questions, prompts. And I just need them to see version 1 being built so they know that there's skin in the game and that this is not just a hope. This is a framework that works. So now they're side by side. We're building this out together. And I'm building step 1 to go back later and add upon it. Like I don't need to do everything right then and there. I just need them to see and hear a call. See a call happen, how it comes in, and hear it, how it happens, and what happens thereafter. And at that point, they've committed to the process. And that commitment to the process means they're going to answer my call. They're going to forward their calls to the AI, right? They're going to, from time to time, play with the AI themselves. They're going to answer my phone calls and text messages because that's what's needed to optimize this. This is not a set it and forget it if you haven't properly built it. This is a set it and optimize it depending on the call traffic, the type of business, the type of volume, the type of problems, and the type of feedback and recordings you're getting. So comment below with what I've shared so far, with getting your foot in the door with the trial, and then demonstrating value at that trial, and how we kind of frame this is key. Let me know what questions you have. Let me know what questions you have below. And there's a lot of technical questions coming in the chat here. And I'm just gonna be straightforward here. This is not a technical call, right? I am not your technical guy for this particular training. I need you to go to speakwith.us/success and get on the Zoom and get the technical stuff squared away. This call is strictly strategy and taking action. This call is strictly strategy and getting your first paying customer with the AI employee. This is not how to set it up. This is not troubleshooting. This is not billing issues and errors. I promise you, if you wait for me to answer that, you're going to be upset. Just get to support. They'll take care of it right away. What I want to make sure is if we're eye to eye here and you're looking at my screen and I'm looking at the camera here, that what you're going to take this and run with it. That you're going to get your first paying customer using this, right? So, got a handful of comments coming in here. Look, during the trial, our number one goal here is to see how much call volume's coming in. So, Vinny, look, you got about 60 calls that come in between 12 and 2. 60 calls coming in between 12 and 2. Did you know that? I had no clue. I don't answer the phone. What do you mean you don't answer the phone, Vinny? I don't answer the phone, John, because I'm dealing with customers in my store. I got to line out the door. How am I going to answer the phone and make sandwiches? I completely understand. But Vinny, what you don't realize is that out of those 60 calls between 12 and 2 on Monday, 4 of them were asking about catering orders. 4 of them were asking about large catering orders for businesses. 2 of them were asking about your pricing for birthday parties, right? And one of them was calling with a complaint about their order. But since you're not answering the phone no matter what, you would never know this. So the good news is that the AI employee did it for you. And I have some calls for us to review together. Because I believe that whether you continue this on a paid version outside the 7-day trial or you don't, you at least know what you're missing out on. Right? And now they're whoa, what are you talking about? They're actually going to get a little defensive with you. What are you talking about? Right? And that's the goal, is to disrupt with result. And that's how you earn the business from a trial. See, the trial for 7 days is strategically set up that if you work fast, you get this up right away. They have a business in place already where they're getting phone calls every hour or on the hour. Well, you'll have enough data by the end of the week, even if you have to extend it another 4 or 5 days or another 2 days, you can have enough data, enough calls to work with because they're a busy business. And this is where you can now position your upgrade. See, with the AI employee, just the voice answering service, if you go ahead and Google, and I'm feel free to do it now. Go ahead into Google and type in answering service for and insert the type of business. Answering service for attorneys, answering service for chiropractors, answering service for restaurants. There's going to be a handful of businesses that offer answering services for that type of business. And all of them will have different pricing. All of them will have different pricing, or some will have no pricing. But it won't be less than, but it will definitely be more than $297. Right? They might get you in with the foot in the door offer initially for less than $297, but eventually it's going to be $297 or more. Because that's what it costs to pay human beings to answer the phone for businesses. Right? So we take this example of the trial and now we apply it to another example, a tree service, right? Everyone in their area has a tree service. And maybe that tree service advertises in their local home improvement magazine. Maybe that tree service advertises in, Google ads, Facebook ads. But any big, good quality tree service has customers calling in, non-customers calling in, either for estimates or for status updates or to schedule a service, emergency service, right? So the tree services are really a great business to go after for this because the amount of equipment that they have, the responsibility they have, there's just skin in the game, right? There's skin in the game. Dumpster companies are great for this, right? Junk removal companies are great for this. Like those types of service businesses where maybe their foot in the door pricing, there's a lot of them. There's a need. That speed to lead is important. So let's look at this example here. We have a tree service, and the problem is that calls are missed during the busy work hours and weekends. So if it's a 1-man, 3-man, 5-member team tree service, maybe someone is, doing some stump removal, one's on the top of a tree, one's directing traffic. Whatever the case may be, everybody's busy. And that doesn't mean because they're busy that they're okay with what they're making. Like there's always room for more customers and more revenue. So while they're busy, people are still calling. And the problem is that if they don't have a sophisticated system or any system set up, those calls are not going to get answered, right? So we know that tree service business owners want more customers, whether it's for tree removal or emergency trimming. So let's go ahead and think about and talk about the impact that if they have an AI employee in place, right, what will be solved? Well, if they don't have an AI employee, they're going to miss calls. And if you miss calls, you miss estimate opportunities, you miss conversations, you miss money, right? If they're doing advertising and or they're doing Google AdWords or they're doing something where there's a click to call or some sort of branding online, well, if the phone's not getting answered, then there's no conversations to turn into customers. And typically these tree service companies or any service business company has a hard time capturing the lead. They'll pay for the lead, but when it comes to the follow-up and the next step, that's where the gap is. And what's nice about the AI employee is that when you have it set up, it can book appointments. It can give answers. It can be that part of the business that needs to care now. And that's the conversation part of the business. So why is the voice AI feature a game changer, right? Let's look at this. If there's an area where there's a lot of storms, well, that means everyone's working double time, overtime, triple time. Well, this voice AI allows those inbound calls to get cared for, and then we can set up this triage of the types of jobs we want to take, that we can take, and that require our immediate attention, right? And that voice AI will solve that 24/7 call managing. That could be early morning, middle of the day, or overnight. Doesn't matter, right? The holidays is when things happen too. So, depending on the crew, the availability of the company, they may want to take these calls, but they may not want to pay or have the opportunity to have someone answer these calls during the holiday, right? So this AI voice does it for them. Instant lead capture, right? Calls in, hey, thanks for calling JB's Tree Service. How can I help you? And right, how can I help you? Right? If you pick the right voice, it's just as natural as anybody else. And now we're collecting information. See, think about when you look for something. When you look for someone to work with, someone to hire, you're looking for a response and you're looking for the next step. And that's what the voice AI is going to do, the response to the next step. So that instant lead capture is, hey, look, here's what we could do. I'm going to have someone give you a call back to set up a time to come out to your location, right? Or, hey, what time would you like someone to stop by your location to do an estimate? That doesn't mean that it's a set it and forget it for the business owner not to do anything. It's giving the customer that's calling in or the prospect that confirmation that we got you covered, and then the business owner can call in and take it from there, right? Now, you could pay an answering service, or you could pay someone $20 an hour to do this, or you can have the AI voice do it and not have to worry about hoping it's done right or hoping it's done the way you want it. And if it's a business that has a lot of call volume, they'll start your customer or your trial user will start to appreciate the responses they get. Oh, I didn't even realize it was an AI that I was talking to, but I'm just happy I got a quick answer. Right? And that's what people want. They want fast answers. They want next steps. So let's look at this example now with a tree service. And what I'm hoping is that you take these examples and you frame them in your local market. So here's my question to you. Where could you find a list of tree companies in your area? Where could you find a list of tree companies in your area? Let me know below. Because what's important here is that these tree companies get approached by you. You need to be the one to approach these tree companies. Okay. And if you don't approach them, no one's going to look for you because no one knows you exist yet. So you can go to yellowpages.com. There's a list of tree companies there. You can go to google.com and search tree companies in your area. You can go to Facebook and click on search tree services in an area. And you'll start to see these tree service listings pop up. And then it begins with you calling them and contacting them. Right? So you have to know where to go fishing to get fish on the hook. And the places you go fishing, Facebook, yellowpages.com, google.com. If you have local magazines in your area, they typically have a website like the home improvement magazines. They have a website. Your local newspaper has a website. They have business listings, right? So you can find business. There's an unlimited amount of businesses to find. You need to go and reach out to them now. That's my ask of you. Reach out to these businesses because the market's waiting for you. The market's waiting for you to reach out to them. If you don't reach out, nothing's going to happen. So as you put your list together to reach out to them and you pick up the phone, you send a direct message, you stop in person, that's when you start to monetize voice AI. Because I'm not going to get into techie here. The tech setup is easy. It's the sales and the strategy that holds people back. So here's what you need to do. And if you haven't had a chance, you got to go back to Billie Jean's workshop that we filmed. It was day 1. And it's framing your pitch. Billie Jean shared this format in his training that was very easy for you to implement right away. And if you watched day 1 of the Billie Jean workshop, comment below. Comment below if you watched day 1. And if you watched day 1 and you are using this framework, let me know below how that's been working for you. Let's walk through it. Hey, I'm JB. I help chiropractors get new patients in a fast but also affordable way without having to pay thousands of dollars in leads to random marketing companies, right? That's my version 1. Is it perfect? No. But I'm going to at least get it out there. The worst thing you could do is overthink what you see and never do anything, right? Overthink what you see and never do anything. Just use this framework and get out there, right? Here's the tree service example. Hi, I'm JB. I help tree service owners capture more urgent leads and book jobs in a seamless, automated way without missing calls during business hours, during busy hours, right? So you start to perfect this and you start to try different ways and you try different industries, but you got to do something. And this is the hardest part, people doing it. High level is the tool. You have to bring people aware of it. Now, you might be white labeling high level. So insert your tool name there, insert your software name there, right? Let's call this the JB sales machine. Well, the JB sales machine is cool to JB, but no one even knows that it exists outside of JB's head. So JB needs to get in front of tree service companies, in front of chiropractors, in front of local businesses and say, hey, look, you got to experience this because this can help your business grow. Look, Joe, we haven't had a chance to meet yet, but I help other tree service companies in the area get in front of new homeowners that are not happy with that tree in front of their house. And I help them attract those customers without having to cold call people or knock on random doors or leave business cards on driveways. That's my version 2 now. Right? That's my version 2. Let me see my version 3. Hey, my name's JB. I help tree service business owners get new customers that are looking to get that ugly stump removed from their front of their house. And I do so by making it easy to attract those customers without having to randomly knock on doors every day, all day. Right? Because tree service owners that are starting to get out there are knocking on doors. Like their customer is home or their customer is the house that's there with an ugly tree in front. So you need to be sure that you can make it clear to them that you don't need to do that painful part of the job. I can help you in other ways. And how does that work with voice AI? Well, if you're helping them with ads, if you're helping them with their website, if you're doing all those things right, people are going to call them. And when they call them, they are not going to answer the phone. The AI employee will answer the phone and help them get those jobs booked while they're helping other customers remove that tree, handle that stump removal, handle the 3 employees that called out that now they have to do 3 employees worth of work, but also still run a business. Right? And maybe you decide to work with a dentist. Right? And these examples are the foundation. And I recommend that you go back. We'll get the link to you here. But in Billy Jean's day 1, he goes in depth on this. Hey, I'm JB. I help dentists book 10 more appointments a week in stress-free way without having to follow up with every missed call. Right? Because we know that a successful dentist office has people calling in. A successful dentist office has people that need to reschedule their appointments. A great dentist office has people asking questions about insurance, has people asking questions on how to get to their location. People are calling to ask questions about their hours of operation, if they offer emergency services. Like a dentist office has call volume coming in. And they typically probably have 1 person answering the phone or maybe 2. But you could set this AI voice employee to help them streamline that and to make it easier when an employee calls out or when the volume just keeps growing and growing. If you work with churches, hey, I'm JB. I help churches keep their members informed and increase engagement in a welcoming, automated way without overwhelming the staff. Right? It's the holiday season. We're asking for donations. We're asking for people to volunteer. People are going to call the office. People are going to call the office. There is going to be a high volume of questions to the office. The AI employee, being well trained, will answer those questions or at least collect the information that's required to get back to them. And I think that's the biggest part of all this, is knowing that it's going to streamline those conversations. So, from the pro tip from Billy Jean's workshop day 1, make your pitch about them, not you. Talk about their pain point. Show how you'll solve their problem. And use curiosity to make them want to know more. Don't vomit on them with everything. Start a conversation and maintain that conversation. And if you lead them into that trial, or at least that micro commitment of the trial, you keep the conversation going. So, now that we've shared a little bit about the framework that Billy Jean shared in day 1, we've shared how to get your foot in the door. We've shared the activity you have to do to let people know that you exist, even though you might be giving away this away for 7 days for free. Even though you're willing to pour out trainings and strategies and help people, your next steps is to find local businesses. You have to be the one to outreach. So comment below, I have to be the one to reach out. Let me know that you're making that commitment, that if you think that people are just going to call you, unless you're doing ads, you're probably not even on here if that's the case. But if you're brand new, you have 0 customers, you just started high level, you're looking to get your first paying customer, you're looking to start this business of new customers coming in and you helping them with the AI employee, comment below, I'm going to start reaching out to people. Because if not, no one's going to find you, especially if you're brand new at this. You're not running ads. You don't have the budget to do Google ads and other advertising. So it starts and ends with you. Email, phone call, outreach. So the high-level prospecting tool feeds into, right, the Google business search results. So look at the high-level prospecting tool. If you haven't yet got to use it, I want to give you a little bit of context around it. We've set it up to be the interface. So yes, you can go to google.com and you could plug in a business type in an area and copy paste. You could do that. Absolutely. Or you could go into high level, click on the prospecting tool, plug in a business city state, have it pull the listings and have it give you a reading of where they could use some help. It gives you a report of what you could help them with. And if any of those features align with the reputation, AI conversations, answering phone calls, that interface of the high level prospecting tool just makes it easier. Because what will then happen is that, and I'll walk you through it here, you can send that report to them. You can print that report. You can walk in with it. You can have it there. See, a big part of outreach and conversations is self-confidence. What do I mean by that? Do I have the self-confidence and belief that I can help this type of business? Do I have the self-confidence and belief that my product is actually going to work? I think that's the biggest part. If you don't have the self-confidence in your ability and your product, well, then you don't have an offer. You don't have a way to help people. You're not going to reach out to anybody, right? So we don't have that problem, thankfully. We have the self-confidence we're building up, right, while we're on this training, while we've consumed other trainings. And we have the product that allows us to help people understand their opportunity and get them to the end result they want. So we're good there. The missing piece is that outreach. That's the missing piece. So I'm going to make that outreach easier. Here's how. As you set up your prospecting tool, you can also start to set up your outreach, whether it's SMS and email, right? Through our different snapshots, through our different features in high level, to send out that initial email message, to send out that initial text message, right? And you may or may not be at that point yet, but it's there, it's available. And we have other trainings on how to do that. We have other ways of how to do that. You do not have to manually push buttons each and every time. Absolutely not. But before we start automating stuff, let's put together our list of businesses we want to help. Now, there's an unlimited amount of businesses you can help. But I want you to use the prospecting tool to search for 20 local businesses in your area, right? And you can start with the tree service. As a matter of fact, my ask of you is to find a tree service in your area and reach out to them, right? Find 5 tree services. If you want to find five electricians, find 5 electricians, right? Find what you know and what you're comfortable speaking about, the businesses that you're aware of, and you'll start to have better conversations that'll build upon each other. But just start with one. Start with that tree service and go into the prospecting tool and plug in tree service in your city state and let it do its job. Because if you make your offer impossible to ignore, then you have a good problem, which is you just got to find more people to present it to. Finding more people over and over is a lot easier than trying to refine your offer each and every time. And I just want you to look at it this way. If you have a list of 50 tree service companies in your area, and you've made 10 phone calls, and out of those 10 phone calls, you got hung up on 2 of them, cussed out on 1 of them, 5 of them were great, and the remaining were all voicemails. Well, then you got a foot in the door of understanding the problem that tree service business owners are experiencing. You're understanding their frustrations. And now you're able to craft that irresistible offer that gets them to give you their attention. Right? And the problem is that if you don't have someone to talk to, then you can't have a conversation. And I want you to throw below in the comments conversation. And call this the secret sauce, call this the most obvious, call it whatever you want. But conversation is the ingredient. You need to have a conversation. And you might be asking, John, what the heck do you mean? You need to have somebody that listens to you and you talk back. Right? And let's say this tree service, they pick up the phone. Hey, is this Jerry's tree service? Yeah, this is Jerry's. Is this Jerry by chance? No. Great. Is Jerry even still around? No, he passed away 30 years ago. This is his son, Joey. Joey, nice to meet you, man. I'm in the area. I was reaching out because as the weather's changing, more trees, right, are in the way. My ask to you is that, are you taking on more business? Do you guys have enough business? And he's going to say to you, what are you talking about, man? We're overly packed. Great. That's exactly why I called. How are you handling those phone calls? Would you be okay if I share with you what I'm doing with some other tree people in the area? What do you got? Right? Now, that's not the most perfect sales pitch, quote unquote. But what's keeping the conversation going is my vocal cords, my tonality. I'm matching him. We're having a two-way conversation. Until he hangs up, we're still talking. Right? The conversation goes on until they hang up. That's the goal here. And it's not going to happen over 1 calls or 2 calls. The conversation is the sauce. The conversation of us talking is the missing part of what you're not doing. Because if we don't have a conversation, I can't use emotional triggers, right? How am I going to use emotional triggers on you if you don't answer the phone? How am I going to tell you, Joey, look, did you know that every missed call you miss costs you money? I'm sure your dad would have told you that. You know, imagine if you were to capture every phone call without having to answer it every time it rang. Imagine that if somebody called in with an emergency service at 3 a.m, that it would be sent to you in an email to let you know to call them back right away. Right? Because I know you would rather be on a tree or collecting checks than playing on the phone as administrative assistant. So why don't you entertain this for a moment, Joey? Right? Why don't you entertain the fact I'm going to put an AI employee to answer your phone that you'll have full control over. We're going to train it to be your best employee, your employee of the month, the employee of the year. It's going to be better than you answering the phone before you know it. And it's going to give you what you need to take the next step. Would you be open to that if I gave that to you for 7 days to see how it works? And that's the swag. So you have the swag, you have the strategy when you have the conversation. No conversation, nothing. That's the important part. No, that's not going to work through text message. No, that's not going to work through email blasts. It's not going to work through text or email blast. Like we need to talk to people. You got to talk, right? And if you can't set the time to talk to people, well, then you have to put someone in place to do the talking. But people buy from people with relationships that are local businesses, right? That's why the big companies spend millions of dollars on ads. They spray and pray with ads. People opt in, but they want someone to call them, or they want someone to handle, right, and give them the free trial, or they want someone to give them the access to experience it themselves. My ask of you is to have conversations with local businesses in your area, right? And as you have those conversations, we then, because we have a two-way conversation, we can then use text to supplement the conversation. We can then use email to share login information, to share reporting, right? But if you're on this call with me, you have 0 customers and you want to get your first customer, you got to talk to people, period. But JB, I have high level. Yeah, I know you have high level, but you got to talk to people. If you don't talk to nobody, how are they going to know what you have? But JB, I send text blasts, but so does everybody else. I send emails, but so does everybody else. Your local positioning is your ticket in the door. Okay. So we get the conversation going. Now we're able to, in our conversation track, add deadlines to motivate action, right? Because we know that procrastination is powerful. I mean, we've all experienced procrastination. Maybe you're experiencing it now by not picking up the phone and calling somebody that you know that has a business. Maybe you're not following up that person that said, call me in 2 weeks, right? So you have to add deadlines. You have to add next steps to get that conversation moving across. If not, they're just waiting around or they forget about you. So let's talk about what that looks like. We want to lead with a problem. The problem is you're missing phone calls and you're burning money. I can help you because I'm going to set this AI employee up that's going to do the phone answering, the appointment booking, and give you the reporting on it while you're taking down trees, you're following up with estimates, and you're removing stumps. The AI employee is going to handle your administrative phone calls that are coming in. But in order for us to make this work, I need us to jump on this phone call. Let's get this set up for you. And I need you to make a commitment to help me make it the best employee for you. Then, after the 7 days, I need you to go full in with me on my paid plan so it works even better for you, right? You gotta, like, there's no need to hide that you want them to be a customer of yours. There's no need to hide that, right? What you need to do is not hide behind the computer. You need to walk in person. You need to pick up the phone and let them hear your voice. That's what you need to do. Because if not, you're just like everybody else. Spammy calls, spammy text messages, unsolicited emails. It's easy for people to give you the spam, leave me alone response. So let's talk about this phone call. And you might be telling me right now, John, I can't make phone calls. Well, then this isn't for you right now, right? This isn't for you right now. This is not for you right now. But if you can walk into a business, then that's your alternative. But if you think you're going to start a business just spamming people through text and email, it ain't going to work. You got to have relationships. You got to go to networking events. You got to attend masterminds. You got to be around like-minded people, join Facebook groups. You got to be in the mix. Because if you're not in the conversation, then people aren't talking about you. Does that resonate? I mean, if you're tuning in here and you have your first customer, your 5th customer, or your 50th customer, what are you doing? What did you do? Maybe you did some ads, but did you eventually call them? Maybe you attended a networking event, but did you eventually follow up with them? No one just gave you a bunch of customers and said, here, sign me up. Like, I know that didn't happen. It started with a call to action to either submit a message, let's talk, or call me, or give me a number and I'll call you. Right? So let me know below if you've had success. How did you get your success? Because here, let me share a little story with you. Prior to joining High Level, I was in outside sales. And how I got my customers selling software, because I was selling CRM software to small to medium sized businesses. And those small to medium sized businesses were advertising in newspapers, in local little booklets, coupon booklets, in the yellow pages, and on those directory sites where they have, like chamber sites. And what I would do, and what people still do that work for these companies, is they go for the low-hanging fruit. They go for the local business in their area that if they need to walk in, they can walk in. If they need to call and reference the weather or reference the area or reference that they live there, they can do so confidently. They're not lying to people, right? They're not lying. I'm from the area. I live in the area. I understand the area. There are a lot of new people moving in. There's a lot of new businesses starting. There's a lot of new this, a lot of that. They're familiar. They're speaking with confidence. So they're able to make that relationship, right? And what I would do is I would go on the side street, main street, and make these relationship friends. And then I wouldn't go every day to talk to them. I'd start with the initial conversation and I'd grab their business card. And on the back of the business card, I'd write whatever, and I'd have a note. Now, you don't have to do this in person, but what you can do is go into the high level prospecting tool, pull a list of businesses in your area by category, import them into your high level, call from your high level, call with curiosity, introduce yourself from the local area. Hey, this is JB. I saw your guys advertising on the Chamber of Commerce. I also saw that you guys got a lot of new things going on there. I was hoping to see if I could speak with someone that handles, the so and so. And they're like, well, no, that person's not here, right? And okay, that call didn't go well. And now maybe you say, well, maybe that wasn't a good opening. Now you're calling the second place and you're going, hey, this is JB. I live in the area. I came across your business on the Chamber site, but I've also saw that you guys just opened up. I was hoping, are you the owner by chance? I wanted to share something that I think you should know. Yeah, what do you got? I'm the owner, right? Like, and now you start the conversation. So you have to disrupt their day to day, not to piss them off, but to get their attention. And as you start to do that, you get better and better at it. And now you start to pivot into, well, what do you want out of the call? And what could you help them with? Right? And if you never call, you never experience this. So my ask of you is to start making phone calls, at least 5 or 6 calls a day, right? And start to feel that pressure of knowing what to say and how to say it to get their attention. And this phone call example should help you, right? Hey, is this Joe by chance? No, Joe's not here. Okay, no problem. The reason I was calling, my name's JB. I'm reaching out because I noticed that businesses like yours are struggling with, missing calls and, kind of just handling the day to day with people calling in with the big storm we had. Does that sound something familiar to you? Or is that something that you guys are experiencing? And they go, well, yeah, I mean, we're busy. We're just can't even take on work. No problem. Right? Yeah, that happens to us all the time. Exactly. And here's the thing. Every missed call could be a mislead or a lost revenue, right? That's why I wanted to personally offer you something that's helping businesses like yours capture every lead 24/7, even when you're not busy, even when you're too busy to answer. Well, how does it work, right? Like before you get to the next part, you got to practice this a couple of times so you feel and sound good at it, right? This is the framework. You don't have to use this word for word. This is the framework. You're introducing yourself, right? You're calling out the industry, you're calling out the pain, and you're asking them to agree. And then they're having a conversation back to you. And if they don't talk back, then you have nothing. The goal is to get them to talk back. And then your response then becomes, here's the thing, right? Maybe you realize it, maybe you don't, maybe you experience it, maybe you don't, but you start to resonate with the obvious problem. And then they respond, maybe because your tone of voice, the fact that you identified yourself being local, the fact that you sound like you know what you're talking about. How does it work? Right? And you start to unpack what it is and how it works. Right? And this isn't going to be the first call. This might be the second call. The responding back and forth from text messages. But you got to have that initial conversation first. Look, I set up a voice AI system for you, completely free for 7 days. During that trial, it'll answer your calls, it'll book appointments, and it'll handle those leads for you. You'll see exactly how many calls it handles and how much business it brings in. You won't even have to lift a finger on it. Right? Like, and to set the expectation for you, you're going to set the AI up with the features of booking appointments. You're going to set the AI up with the right information to answer. It's not just going to do it out of the box. You have to set it up with the right prompts. And we have technical team that helps you with that. That sounds interesting, but I'm just not sure if that's for me, if it's the right time right now. I completely understand. See, here's the thing. It's only available to the first 10 businesses I'm working with this week, and I'd love for you to take one of those spots. It's no cost, no obligation. You'll see results in days. I could set it up for you today, and we can check back in after the 7 days to see how it's working for you. Right? So the framework, you have to tweak it based on your area, based on your tonality, your style. And you could do this call in person, you could do this over the phone, or you could do it on a Zoom. But you just have to know what the steps are. And the step is to educate and then to push them in by saying, look, there's a deadline, there's some scarcity here. This is not available forever for everybody. Me looking over your Google business profile, I noticed that you have some bad reviews around getting back to people. I noticed you have some bad reviews that people complain that you don't answer the phone after they pay you. These are things that I want to help you with. That's why I reached out to you. Right? So that's where your high-level prospecting marketing audit comes into play. All right, that sounds fair, right? The conversation is still going. If the conversation is not going, you got to move on. Great. So I'll just need a few details to get started. You're going to love how easy this is. Let me secure this spot for you now, right? And that's where you go into the fun stuff, which is right, get their name, their phone number, their email, the information you need to set up the voice AI. But I want you to think about just the key elements of this type of call, starting with the pain point they can relate to, right? Whether it's missed appointments, whether it's after-hour calls, whether it's seasonality, you need to direct that pain point. Showing how the voice AI solves their problem is important, right? Real world problems with real world results goes far. Limiting the offer, letting them know that, right, you can't work with everyone, and it's nearly impossible to offer this for free to every business. The reason why I reached out to you is that I noticed that on your Google business profile, there were a lot of bad reviews around answering the phone. I noticed that people were frustrated with the level of customer service they're receiving. I noticed that, right, and now you're going into that, right, referencing the facts. And again, you don't have to offer the 7-day trial, but it's something to at least see if it's the offer, or if it's how you're positioning it, or if it's just the wrong people you're reaching out to, right? Someone's got to bite at it. And I think the biggest goal here is is understanding that if you call people, they will answer. If you talk to people, they'll talk back. Here's the biggest problem, y'all, and I'll share this from the new people. I'll share this from the new people that I meet in our programs. And that is, people hope because they build a website that they're going to get an influx of traffic that comes in. People hope that because they have set up their high level that they're going to get customers that want to sign up. People hope because their pricing is the lowest in town that they're going to get tons of customers because of it. Those are the exact reasons of why it's not working out for you. You have to have conversations with businesses that have problems. And you have to be able to identify what those problems are. And identifying those problems is looking at the obvious clues that are online. And those obvious clues are on Google. They're on review sites. And those obvious clues are from their existing customers, the people that were working with them and that were not happy, the prospects that wanted to work with them but never got to, right? And if you could start to reverse engineer what's obviously available and using high level as a tool to solve the problem, as you start to understand those mechanics and you understand that strategy, it is so much more easier to have those conversations, right? Having conversations around things you know what you're talking about are much more easier than winging it. And I feel like, that 0 to 1 customer, you're winging a lot of this. You're not familiar with everything. You don't know what you don't know. And if you agree with me, comment below. Right? Because what I've seen and what I've experienced is that we get this hope that people will just buy from us because we exist. And that's the total opposite that happens. We got to make phone calls. We got to make conversations. We have to talk to our circles and tell them what we do. We have to demo and showcase how we help so others talk about us when we're not around. Comment below. I want others to talk about me when I'm not around. Imagine you're telling people about what you do, how you help, and when you're not around, they're talking about you. So here's my ask of you today. Let's get that talking about you happening by talking to people about you and what you do to help their business. So I want you to use the high-level prospecting tool to find 5 local businesses, whether they're 5 tree companies, 5 chiropractors, people that barely answer the phone because they're busy. We want to solve that problem. I want you to launch a voice AI trial offer campaign following up from that phone call with a follow-up text, a follow-up email. I want you to call first, mention that you called and no one answered, or mention that you called and no one got back to you, or I called and I wanted to make sure you got this message because I didn't want this message to come off as a solicitation, and use that as your reference point. I called you. Did you get the message? If not, could you be missing other messages? And I want you to track those responses and schedule people that want to talk to you and show them how the voice AI works. And as you do that, your ultimate goal is to secure your first trial, which is going to be your first case study within 48 hours. Which means in order to get here, you have to make at least 25 initial phone calls. You have to send out at least 25 follow-up emails. You have to put in those 25 contacts in your CRM to at least follow up with them. Start with 25. I'm not saying 50. I'm not saying 100. I'm not saying to go buy a whole database. Start with 25. 25 calls might take you 45 minutes to 60 minutes. If that's all you have, make 25 phone calls today and let me know your results. Because voice AI is the foot in the door and the tools are here to support you. The support is here. And now it's time for you to take the first step. Make the phone call. Have the conversation. Because remember, these results come from action. You're not going to sell high level just because it's high level. You're going to sell in high level because it's you plus high level. It's you plus your white label brand. It's your expertise plus the tool that fixes the problem, not just high level. So go out there, make those calls, 25 calls. If you can't make 25 phone calls and you would rather spam 1,000 people through email and text, shame on you. And here's why I say shame on you. Because you're not giving yourself the chance you need to take action on a result that you deserve. Me talking to you right now, people want this. They want to be talked to. They want you to keep it real with them. Go ahead and call 25 people to help them understand why they're missing out. Because tomorrow we're going to be talking about selling the hole and not the drill. Right? The hole is the end result. High level is the drill. Nobody wants to buy high level. Nobody wants to buy you. They want to buy the result. They want the end result. So sell the outcome, but you have to understand what the outcome is before you sell it. Because the people that I'm talking to haven't got their first customer yet. They've decked out their high level, but they haven't got any paying customers yet. That we're going to get paying customers by the end of this week. And if you're not going to make a phone call, you're not going to have a chance. So my homework to you, there's going to be a link below here. I want you to make 25 phone calls. I want you to send out 25 emails following up on that phone call. And I want you to respond back and start that conversation. Because you don't have to be great to start. Right? You don't have to be an expert to start. But you got to start to have a chance at even being great. Like you gotta have you gotta give yourself the chance by starting a conversation to even hope to get a fair chance at this marketing opportunity. So if you're with me, comment below, JB, I'm committed this week to take action. Let me know if it's 5 of you or 500 of you, I don't care. But I'm going to make sure if you're committed, you comment below, I'm committed to take action. That I'm going to be committed to your success. I'm going to be committed to help you get across the finish line with high level as the drill and you understanding and selling the whole. You understanding and selling the end result. Because I can't do it for you, but I can do it with you. But you got to start that conversation. Comment below. I'm going to start conversations today. Make those 25 calls. We're going to share our wins on this link here. I got some giveaways that are going to be happening this week. I want you to go to this link, gohighlevel.com/AI Profit Week -wins. Take a screenshot. This is where we're going to have our conversation and where we're going to share our wins because you're paying for high level already. We're giving you the AI employee for free for the remaining of December. Why wouldn't you get your first customer? No one else is doing that. And that's why you're here, to get your first customer, right? Get your first customer. I want to get them with you. Save this link, go to it, comment, share your wins, send out those 25 emails, send out those 25 phone calls, and have conversations. Look, y'all, we spent a lot of time together, and it's because you care. And I care too. We got more coming your way. As we get set up here for tomorrow, my most important ask is to show up with making those phone calls. I'll see y'all tomorrow, same time, 11 a.m. Central, 12 p.m. Eastern. Take care.